this is Cara reporting for KSBY News Station. Today we are here at San Luis Obispo Courthouse, where Paramount Farms has taken the EPA to court over a recent fine due to pesticide drift. This case has landed in court because of the inability for the two sides to come to an agreement. Let's take a look inside.
All rise with the Honorable Judge Fletcher.
Thank you. You may be seated. Alright. So we're gathered here today to discuss the issue of pesticide drift between Paramount Farms and the EPA. Let's begin with our open arguments, beginning with the plaintiff.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. My name is Xavier Keelan, and it's my privilege to represent Paramount Farms in this case for you today. I intend to prove that Paramount Farms is being unjustly forced to pay additional fines and operate under new restrictions because of the pesticide practices and uses that they currently use. And what I'm going to do is pretty much break down the benefits of pesticides right now. So they pretty much help to protect against diseases carried by insects that also affect humans and crops. Pesticides increase overall crop yield and efficiency of production. And up to 40% of the world's potential crop production currently is already lost annually because of pests, weeds, and insects, diseases, and everything like that. These crop losses would be doubled technically if we were to impose new restrictions on pesticide use or even stop using them altogether. And pesticides also decrease the cost of food for consumers. Generally, when you increase crop yields, you get lower cost for the food. And pesticides definitely provide a high quality produce without insect blemishes or any diseases or contamination. And basically, right now, Paramount Farms has recently adopted integrated pest management practices to combat any pesticide drift or pollution. They've also taken on good cultural and biological practices, but in general, IPM is an effective and environmentally sensitive approach to pesticide use, in which pesticides are used at very low doses.
Thank you, Richard. Now we will hear from the defense.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, I am here today to defend and explain the reasoning behind the Environmental Protection Agency's regulations on pesticide drift. To recap, pesticide drift includes all off-target movement of pesticide spray, volatiles, and contaminated dust. Throughout this trial, you will learn the potential risks and damage to society caused by incorrect pesticide management and application techniques. After learning the potential negative effects of improper pesticide use, you will learn why the EPA must regulate pesticide use and impose requirements such as no spray buffer zones around homes, schools, parks, as to ensure the safety of the citizens of the United States. And with that, the defense would like to call Dr. Nigel McDonald to the stand.
Witness may now approach.
Professor McDonald, can you please state your profession to the judge?
I'm an economics professor at Cal Poly University.
Thank you very much. Can you please define for us what an externality is?
Well, an externality is a cost or benefit incurred by a third party, or to put it simply, a group uninvolved in the transaction who did not choose to incur a cost or benefit, but it was forced upon them by another party. Pollution is a common example of an externality, where the pollution causes environmental damage that society has to pay to clean up or improve. The real key, though, in this definition is one party's actions causing another party to be economically affected.
Thank you. And could you please explain how the concept of an externality applies to this situation?
Well, in this situation, the pesticide drift, it's causing billions of dollars of damage to the U.S. public in environmental damage, specifically things such as groundwater contamination, crop losses due to the pesticide itself, pesticide resistance in pests, and even public health. The pesticide drift isn't disappearing or causing measurable damage. There are serious financial consequences for uninvolved parties, particularly the general public.
Thank you. And do you have any numbers to support that point, such as costs accrued to the third parties?
Yeah, one second. So for some of those issues I brought up earlier, here's some numbers. There's $1.1 billion a year in public health costs caused by pesticide drift. $1.5 billion a year in pesticide resistance and pests. $1.4 billion a year in crop losses caused by pesticides. $2.2 billion in bird losses due to pesticides, and $2 billion in groundwater contamination.
I see. And do you believe that without regulation of pesticide application and emphasis on proper techniques, that the issue may be fixed through any other means?
I don't know of any other means, no.
Thank you. The defense rests.
Now we hear from the plaintiff.
Okay, Professor McDonald. As a Cal Poly professor, what kind of knowledge or expertise do you have in the field of pesticides and pesticide management practices?
Well, I wouldn't say I'm an expert in the pest management or anything, but I can assure you I can talk about the economic consequences of pesticide drift and pesticide management.
Okay, well then by your estimation, do the potential gains from pesticide use possibly outweigh the, I don't know, I'd say monetary damage to the society that's hurting?
No, I wouldn't say the gains outweigh the negatives here. Although there are definitely big financial gains and benefits to the public, there are also serious financial consequences to be paid by the public in this case as well. And I just wouldn't necessarily say that the pros outweigh the cons here.
Okay, appreciate that. And I guess as a Paramount Farms representative, I was just kind of wondering how would they possibly make up for 70 to 80% possible crop losses if they were to cut certain pesticide uses or even some of their practices?
Well, that whole question is kind of a myth versus reality thing here. The reality is that when pesticides are used, have been completely cut, some farmers say they get 35% decreases. You know, they'll get 35% of farmers say they'll get decreases in yields, but there's about 20% of farmers that will say that they actually do get yields from cutting pesticides.
Like increased yields?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's my only question. Thank you.
If there are no more questions for the witness, then you may return to your seat. Thank you, Professor. And we will proceed with our closing arguments, beginning again with the plaintiff.
Okay. Basically, without these crop protection and pest control technologies, U.S. food production would decline. Many fruits and vegetables would be in short supply, and the price of food would rise in general. What's more is America's production of important fibers for clothing, such as cotton, would decrease as farmers would lose their harvest and livelihoods to crop pests and diseases, most likely. Lower yields definitely tend to mean more land is necessary to meet the growing population's demand for food. Eventually, more land would result in more deforestation, less biodiversity, and taking away from pesticides or even regulating use too far could undermine the environmental benefits of not using them altogether. And Paramount Farms has already taken steps to limit pesticide drift and pollution in this community. The adoption of integrated pest management practices, again, is a step in the right direction. And the factors that affect pesticide drift are difficult to control anyways. Weather patterns and wind conditions are factors that are out of the control of most farmers. So there's no real simple solution to pesticide drift, but steps have been taken by Paramount Farms to limit what they can. All applicators are certified and trained. Paramount has also invested in a drift catcher, which allows the farm to track and monitor air quality during application times. So the question really is, before any sort of additional fines or restrictions are imposed, how do we offset the losses of taking away some of these pesticide uses to meet the demand for food, which is already in short supply? Increased fines and regulations will definitely deter my clients from increasing their production to meet their needs.
Thank you. We will now hear from the defense.
I'm
I'm sure by now that it's obvious that regulation of pesticide application and the drift that results is necessary. It is the EPA's duty to regulate all agricultural processes affecting the environment and must ensure that the safety of human beings is being considered at all times. From 1998 through 2006, we've identified 2,945 cases associated with agricultural pesticide drift from 11 different states. When pesticides are sprayed, they can drift and settle on playgrounds, porches, laundry, toys, pools, furniture, and more. If actions and regulations are not implemented, these external costs to society as a whole will not be reduced and may continue to cause great damage.
Okay, the jury will now proceed to make the decisions, so we will take a 15-minute intermission during that time.
All rise for the Honorable Judge Fletcher.
Thank you, you may be seated. All right, so thank you to both parties for keeping an easy trial. The court, I had the verdict in my hands, and the court has decided to rule in favor of the EPA and uphold the fines and regulations that are in place. So with that, the court is adjourned.
Well, there you have it, folks. The judge has ruled in favor of the EPA. Paramount Farms is stuck with their fines and must employ better pesticide management in compliance with the EPA standards. From all of us here at KSBY News, you stay classy, San Luis Obispo.